and Sid Show.
Guaranteed to be enormously successful.
It's about truth, the damn truth, New York's truth, the truth behind the BS. For New York, nothing at all in between. This is Bernard McGurk.
So Bernie.
This is Sid Rosenberg.
The one and only Sid.
Live, local, on it.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exclusively.
What is this?
77 WABC.
Yes, you're looking live at a sold-out MetLife Stadium where tonight the Jets will take on the Giants. That's coming up this Saturday, preseason football, week number 3, the dress rehearsal, if you will, for week 1 of the regular season. And that brings us to hour number 2 of the Bernie and Sid Show right here on 77 WABC. And an esteemed guest, not just a great linebacker for the New York Jets, does Jet games on radio with Bob Wischusen, Jet games on television with Ian Eagle, but also a great businessman and big Donald Trump guy, our good buddy, and looking like $1 million.
One of the greats.
Greg Buttle, welcome back.
Listen, boys, it's always nice to be with you two, Utes.
Yeah, that's right. You two young losers over here.
I didn't say losers.
No, you didn't say that. No, I said that because I'm self-deprecating. But anyway, it's great to have Greg Buttle here. New York legend, actually, I would say.
Yes.
And look, you dressed like you just left Park Avenue to come over here. You got the pocket hanky. You got the $1,000 shoes with no socks on.
Meetings.
I mean, you really are a very dapper dude.
The point being is you can't be.
What are you trying to hide?
I'm not trying to hide it. That's a funny line. You never can be too dressed for anything. So you just dress the way you are. You can always be underdressed like Sid.
Right. But that still look great like Sid. I don't have to wear the fancy suits and ties to look good.
I don't need a tan. I don't need a deep tan.
Look at these.
Yeah,
these are gas in those.
What is that going to do for you?
You know about working
Nothing.
out. Yeah,
They showing me biceps? Come on.
Yeah.
Well,
what do you think of that? I mean, is this desire to pump up and look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
Well, there's a little narcissist going in.
Oh, get out of here!
What do you mean? Get out of here!
In the good old days when you owned the gyms all across Long Island, if in fact I got these at the Buttle gyms, you'd be pumping me up right now.
Right.
I would.
But now that you're out of the gym business,
that's right. Forget that.
he took advantage of suckers like you for years.
Yeah, but you go to the nightclub. That's it. Laura, I parked your car at airport parking. Sure, go ahead. That's what I'm talking about.
I actually did. I went to Buttle's once with I think it was Boy Gary from out in Long Island. We went to your club, and we got robbed.
Funny. You're so funny. You never were robbed.
No, they really did. Unlike Ryan Lochte, they really did.
The liquor was watered down. It was
terrible.
horrible experience.
You got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, he ended up meeting Mark Gastineau at Sprat's.
Yeah.
Well, he was always down on the water. But
Sprat's on the water.
We came. All the Jets were back at my place after the game Sundays. It was spectacular. Everyone was nice. The crowd was nice. We were Cheers before Cheers was Cheers.
Is that right?
That's the truth. That Buttles at the time on the Hempstead Turnpike was the place to be, and we would be down there Sunday night. We'd be back there on Monday afternoon, and it was great. All the players were down there. They loved it. I thought it was great.
You don't miss that business just a little, or it became?
I'm still in the business.
In that particular business.
But they still have the same location. It's a different name now. It's called Aura.
But it's yours.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
See, Greg Buttle's a really slick, smart businessman. People don't know that.
Yeah.
Here's how smart I am.
And a broadcaster on top. He's not like... He actually parlayed his athletic career into something useful, something productive, something lucrative, I would say.
Well, this is where I think that if there's anything that I have in common with Donald Trump, it's that you got to know who the right people are to be with and who to hire. And the point being, I had two partners that were great, taught me the business, John Curtin and Raina Leone, and taught me the business, and I'm still in the same business, still my partners to this day. That's over since 1979. How's that?
You also, much like Donald Trump, have big hands, which means you must have a big, at least Donald Trump leads us to believe he's very well endowed.
When you turned around,
my
quickly,
age, who cares?
When you turned around quickly in the locker room, did you like smack somebody over the head?
No, he did.
Temple with
he did.
Well, that's a funny line because I've always hated the fact that women were allowed in the locker room, but I hated the fact that men were in our locker room. That locker room is not a place of business. Everyone wants to call it business. It's not. It is your living room, and that's where you live. That's every single day with the guys, and you just can't be comfortable with the media in your locker room.
However, if you were, really well endowed, you'd be like, let him in.
Take
let
him
in.
Right.
So, can we read something into that? The fact that you didn't want women in the locker room?
No, you can't read anything into
Prove
that.
it.
Want me to lay something on the desk over here? But anyway, let me tell you a real quick story
Greg.
about Buttles.
Yes, sir.
When I first saw him, it was early 80s, and there was this black guy that kept coming into the place, and he was a little guy. He would come into to Buttles, and he'd come in and he'd say, "Hey, Greg, how are you? How you doing?" I go, "Fine." I didn't know who he was. So, yeah, come on, sit down. Listen, can I introduce you to my date? Yeah, sure. So I say hi to the date. He comes back in again. He's got another date. Comes back in again, another date. He goes, "Now, this is not the same girl. I just want to let you know." I said, "Fine." You know who that was?
Who was it?
Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
wow. Before Eddie Murphy was anybody, he lived in
Yeah.
Roosevelt. He was coming up, and he was spending a little time on
As a matter
whatever
of fact,
nights.
he was a comedian out with Rob Bartlett out on Long Island.
Great guy.
A place called the White House or something. There was a comedy club. He worked with Rob Bartlett. I know that.
What was the brokerage out on Long Island? What was that?
Governors?
That was one.
Governors, I think.
There was a couple, but I think there was one that's no longer in. But anyway,
but I got to tell you something. At that time, you don't know. But he wasn't doing any of that.
Yeah,
but he was such a nice guy.
Buckwheat.
Such a nice guy.
He was.
When he made it big, I moved back in 2001 when I worked with you during Imus. I lived in Tenafly, New Jersey. And on the hill in Tenafly, Eddie Murphy and Alonzo Mourning, all those guys lived, and he had this huge house and these big gates with an E and an M. I could walk there from my house, but obviously I couldn't get in. But that's when he made it big. Tenafly.
So he used to have.
He likes the trannies too. You like them?
Yeah, he likes that.
You like that, right?
The what? What?
The trans. Didn't Eddie Murphy like those?
Yeah. Well, he was on it was an urban legend. I think he was on a date once, and it turned out
it's a people thing. You love people.
I like the trans.
I love people.
Yeah,
that's all there is.
They're
to
all
it.
good.
all I can tell you.
Look at
Another
Greg's face.
Here's the funny thing: is that we used to have a special
I'm
deal.
laughing already.
So all the Islanders used to come in also.
Yes.
And what I used to tell them, listen, if any of the teams come in, just have them call. So this one guy calls one day, early 80s, whatever it was, and my partner answers the phone. Partner Rennie goes, "Yeah, hi. This is so and so from the hockey team. I hear that you do a deal with professional athletes, and I said, and Rennie says, hold on for a minute. He goes, listen, there's this guy on the phone from a visiting hockey team. Should we offer these guys the same thing we give the Islanders? I said, who is it? He goes, some guy by the name of Wayne Gretzky. I go,
oh my God,
absolutely,
that's funny. Right.
absolutely. That guy's going to be a star. Now, this is early in his career.
Before,
I said, that guy's going to be a star.
You know who's a great guy? Dennis Potvin. I know the Ranger fans kill him. Potvin sucks. Right, Potvin sucks. But he lives in Florida now. He does the Panther games.
Dennis, great guy.
Great guy. I mean, he probably frequented your bar, right?
Oh, they were all over there. They were between here and Mr. Generosities at the time.
Right. Well, let me ask you then one question
John
before
Tonelli,
we get
Clark
to
Gillies, Billy Smith.
Bobby Nystrom. Before we get to the Trump and all that good stuff, then while we're talking about sports, you do the preseason football games on television with Iron Eagle. You guys are great. You guys are great together.
Very nice.
You just did the Redskins game. For the Jet fans listening out there are tons listening to us right now. Is Geno Smith going to make this team? Because what I heard was Bryce Petty is going to be the backup to Ryan Fitzpatrick. You got the rookie out of your alma mater, Hackenberg out of Penn State. What's Geno Smith's future with the Jets?
First of all, he threw an interception. I don't know how he threw it. I wasn't back there, but I watched
like
him.
a girl.
Well, no, he throws a good ball. I will tell you. Sean Hannity throws like a girl, but he's good. And I was a little surprised. Maybe he didn't see the kid or not in the defense that they probably haven't practiced in preseason yet. But that's beside the point. All quarterbacks throw interceptions. So to me, it wasn't such a big deal.
He throws a lot, though.
Well, first of all, you're characterizing a guy that didn't have wide receivers for the first 2 years of his career, under pressure, a guy that was punched out by some guy. I mean, his career has been spotty for those reasons. Without me defending the guy or giving him excuses, because you always have to rise above everything around you to be good. So that's the one thing fans haven't seen him do, is rise above things to make it better. And, of course, in New York, fans they're tough. You know, you've got to be able to accept what they are and do your job and go out and do it the best you can. I think that he works hard. I think that there's all of these expectations. Now, I don't know what goes on through his head, but he's a nice kid.
You know what was very telling, though, is when he got punched in the jaw, he didn't fight back. I mean, to me,
knocked out.
No, he was not knocked out. He didn't get knocked out. His jaw was broken.
I think he did hit the floor, though.
You get up there and you go after that punk.
Well, you get stunned. He broke his jaw.
Yeah.
Right. But you get up and you start swinging back. From my neighborhood, that's what we did. Well, I don't know about you guys.
That's what McGregor would do.
Well, you know what? First of all, I was not there, and no one was there. No one knows what happened other than they heard the scuffle that came out, and next thing you know, everyone's there. So I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I should get some more facts. But
well, I think it might. But that's beside the point.
But I think you go after that son of a bitch, and And how about?
I'd have sued him civilly. I'd have sued him.
How about Rex Ryan hiring the guy that punched Geno Smith afterward? I mean, was that a slap at the Jets at the time?
I don't look at that as a slap at the Jets. I look at that. That was Rex Ryan's guy. The Jets cut him. That was Rex Ryan's guy. So Rex Ryan believes he knows how to get the most out of IK in whatever his last name is,
right.
Picali.
Plus, he stuck it to the Jets, and it's always fun.
Listen, he made him a captain, but he's always done that with players from former teams. It's not something out of the ordinary.
Well, you know, Greg could be defending Rex Ryan on this because Rex Ryan is a Trump supporter, as is Greg Buttle.
Yes, and also
make America great again,
and also loves to suck toes. As does Greg Buttle.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Buttle loves that.
I don't. Is that illegal?
That's why Flipper wore the thongs. She's got the thongs on, the thong slippers with the painted toenails, and she lives like 2 blocks from Greg Buttle.
Actually, it's 537 steps, but I'm just saying.
Every time he sees me coming, he's building that wall.
I was scared of her.
You better wear a French maid outfit.
She's done that twice.
Bring a little duster.
We hang out.
So you can accomplish 2 things at once. 1-800-848-9222. Greg Buttle is a Trump supporter. We're going to talk politics. Hillary was on with Jimmy Kimmel last night. She got out of bed long enough to go on Jimmy Kimmel last night.
She was funny.
And we have some of that, and Greg's reaction to that, and also about the Giants having this.
The kicker, Josh Brown?
Yeah.
Get rid of this guy. We'll talk about that. Domestic violence.
That. Yeah. And what happened to Mark Gastineau? 1-800-848-9222. Bernie and Sid, and Greg Buttle in studio after this.
Bernie and Sid. Live, local, on at 77 WABC.
It is a disaster the way African Americans are living in many cases, and in many cases the way Hispanics are living. And I say it with such a deep felt feeling. What do you have to lose? I will straighten it out. I'll bring jobs back. We'll bring spirit back. We'll get rid of the crime. You'll be able to walk down the street without getting shot. Right now, you walk down the street, you get shot. Look at the statistics. We'll straighten it out. If you keep voting for the same failed politicians, you will keep getting the same results. They don't care about you.
Yeah.
They just like you once every 4 years. Get your vote, and then they say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Donald Trump speaking to the nation yesterday. He is right about one thing.
Addressing blacks and Hispanics in particular.
Right. Of course, there were no blacks or Hispanics in that audience.
No, but they were watching TV.
Oh, they were all watching, I'm sure.
No, they have TVs, believe it or not.
Right, and they're all making it sure. They're all making sure they're watching Donald Trump on TV.
Well, people do watch. The ratings skyrocket.
Yeah, white people do.
That's why CNN and Fox cut in for Donald Trump.
White people do. But I will say this. What he got right was the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. He's right about that.
Greg Buttle is in studio with Bernie and Sid here. His appeal is a populist one. What the hell do you have to lose? That's what appeals to me about his candidacy is what do I have to lose? The same crap with Jeb Bush, the same crap with Hillary Clinton. I'm willing to roll the dice and take a chance with a guy like this.
Never ending, and it's a disservice to the people in this country that welfare has been out there forever. How has that helped anybody? Where is it where they help with jobs? Well, none of that.
Right.
They just use it as a ploy to get votes.
And then, as he says, every 4 years they address the problems. Or they give lip service to it, and then they get elected. Bye-bye.
And by the way, it's not just Hillary Clinton. It's the whole liberal side of it, and half the Republicans that go along with all the nonsense.
Exactly right. He's going to stop spending the billions overseas, going to secure the borders so cheap labor doesn't come in and take jobs. And, I mean, I'm willing to try that. I'm willing to stop spending billions and billions, rebuild Detroit, rebuild Penn Station.
How's he going to do
Spend the money here.
How's he going to do it?
He's going to stop spending the money overseas.
Right.
That's
Okay.
That's one.
Right.
And he's going to secure the border so the cheap labor doesn't come in.
Okay.
Well,
So
what
that
is
people
it
can
that
get jobs.
Is it you don't believe that because no Democrat has ever done that?
I don't.
Why is it that you would not believe that?
Because I haven't heard him once say how he's going to do it.
I said, why
Greg,
wouldn't you?
Greg,
there's only
Greg,
something
it's very easy to go on stage and talk about all these magnificent things you're going to do. All these things cost money, okay?
Right.
And realistically, Donald Trump has not come up with a plan yet to pay for anything.
I just explained it to you.
No, you didn't. He says all the right things. He has never
I did.
No, you didn't.
Here's the difference.
Bernard does. Donald Trump doesn't. I've never heard Donald
Here's
Trump
why.
in detailed fashion explain
I'm going
anything.
to tell you
Go ahead,
why.
Greg.
His emotions rule everything.
Yeah, he's very passionate. You got to love Sid for that.
Really, and there's nothing wrong with passion, but you've got to get to a point where
What?
emotion.
Would I vote for Trump?
No, where emotions don't rule your decision.
Greg, I've never heard Donald Trump detail anything. I've heard his last 3 speeches, which I thought were okay.
He hasn't detailed anything.
Nothing.
Well, the border.
Nothing.
What is
The
Hillary
border?
Clinton detail?
No, don't talk about Hillary Clinton.
I'm just asking you the question.
Don't fight for Donald Trump by
really
mentioning Hillary Clinton.
Here's the question I have.
Yeah.
What has anybody detailed that's running for office? What are their details?
Very little. Very little.
So what's the? I'm just asking him.
Because I'll tell you why.
If that's the case, what's the
I'll
difference?
tell you why. Because when people say it can't get worse, or what do I have to lose? That's about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because in any situation in life, whether it's football, politics, or how you're living, it could always get worse. It could always get worse, and you've got plenty to lose. And what I see from Donald Trump is a man without a plan. So as bad, and I don't like Hillary. I don't like Hillary, but it can certainly get a heck of a lot worse.
Allow me. His plan to secure the border has been well known for a long time. Also, his plan to to make NATO, to make South Korea, to make Japan, to make stop foreign
What is his plan to secure the border?
Going to Saudi
what is his
Arabia.
plan to secure the border? I want to hear it. What's his plan?
It's to build a wall. It's secure.
And who's paying for it?
Maybe a virtual wall.
And who's paying for it?
I don't care who's paying for it. He's not going to deport millions and millions of people. That's A.
Oh, he's still sticking with that, though.
No, he went.
No. He's still sticking with that.
Order the deal. You reach for the stars, and you settle on.
He's still sticking with deporting 12 million
I won't deport,
people.
but I will build a wall.
Right.
And he will do that, and that's going to stop the cheap labor from coming in.
Right.
And that will help people
He
get
will
jobs.
not do that. He will not do that because no one's going to pay for the damn wall. And secondly, he still wants to deport 12 million people.
So here it is. So you got one guy that, let's just assume he says he's going to deport 12 million people.
Right.
You want the other side that's going to import 12 million people, right? That's what you want. Open borders. You want anybody to come in.
Here's what I'm saying.
Our borders are right.
Here's what I'm saying.
Kids coming
Here's
through
what
Mexico.
I'm saying, okay? San Bernardino.
And drugs.
Oh, it's unbelievable. So the question is that's what you want.
San Bernardino, those guys.
Is that what you
hold
want?
On, let me explain it, okay?
Well, see, you can't do what I do.
Let me explain it, because all you do is yell. You guys get hysterical.
No,
San
we're asking
Bernardino.
you a question.
San Bernardino, they were Americans. Omar Mateen was an American. The guys from
He was the
Chechnya
son of immigrants.
moved here at 4 years old. They were Americans.
Take terror away.
They were immigrants.
Take terror away.
I'm trying to.
Your whole argument is terror.
I didn't argue terror. I'm talking about illegal immigration. Is that what you just talked about?
We were
illegal
talking
immigration?
about the wall in Mexico.
Right. But
I didn't mention terror once. Did you mention terror?
I never brought it up.
Okay,
So I don't know what you're
stick
talking
with the wall.
about.
Not all Mexicans are
I'm
druggies
talking about illegal
and rapists
immigration,
and
which
murderers.
costs our country hundreds of billions of dollars.
We need to do a better job at that.
It's killing
yes.
our
We need to
welfare
limit
system.
that.
You want to talk about it? Okay.
Yes.
Look at all the families that are coming over. Illegal immigrants that are on welfare.
Need to
Come
do a
on.
better job at that. You're 100% right.
Stop the bleeding.
It's not. Trump can do something with it, but we already know, because Hillary Clinton has said she's going to allow an amnesty. She's going to allow all these people to come in.
And has been in office since 2000 and has never proposed anything to do anything about it. 1-800-848-9222.
So we do know what she's going to do.
We're joined by Greg Buttle, former New York Jet, great in the studio, and we're coming back after Nome with the News.
Get to Bernie and Sid now. 800-848-WABC. Where New York comes to talk. 77 WABC.
If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie O'Donnell. I mean, I'd look at her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired.
All right.
That's not funny.
Give one more.
No, that's not funny.
That's the funniest part because that's not funny.
Yeah, then why'd you read it?
Right, Hillary Clinton, I guess she didn't pre-read it.
Perfect segue. Yeah. Why did she read it?
Yes.
Well, she didn't pre-read that, obviously. She was reading it for the first time. She's like,
you know that. You were there.
Of course.
Of course you were there.
You know that.
Yeah.
Just put it down.
She's never done that before. Everything she's done is pre-read, pre-done, pre-thought. Everything is done.
You think she's that good an actress that she actually said this isn't funny and pulled it off like that?
You know what they were doing, Greg? I mean, she is a phony and everything is orchestrated and poll tests and all that stuff. You're right. But last night she was reaching into a jar to grab random statements that Donald Trump has said in the past.
Right.
And she happened to grab that one. She grabbed Rosie.
Right.
Not the first time, probably.
And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that she grabbed another one and she was like, I'm not reading this.
She said, I'm not going to read it.
Right.
I still don't take it back. She's always prepared.
You're right. Yeah.
Look, at that time, maybe not. Yeah. But it was funny.
She didn't say it was not funny until the audience didn't laugh. She was waiting for the laughter, but then when the audience was silent, then it was like, that's not funny. That's not. It was very awkward, which is why I played it, because I loved it. It was
must have been a group.
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
Group of Republicans must have been in the audience.
Why do you say that?
Because they didn't think it was funny.
Well, Republicans don't think Donald Trump is funny either.
I thought that was funny. If I was in the audience and she read it, I would laugh.
But have you not noticed, Greg, that...
must have been Democrats in the audience, I think you mean.
No, he meant Republicans. They didn't laugh because she's a Democrat.
Because she read...
Right. But what Greg is not saying or refuses to accept is the fact that a lot of Republicans don't think their own candidate is very funny or good. There are more Republicans running away from Donald Trump.
Not a Democrat that likes Hillary Clinton. None of them. None of them.
Let me tell you something. I saw Laura Ingraham on the air this morning, your friend Laura Ingraham, who you love, okay? And
Absolutely.
she said, let me say something about the Democrats. She never says anything nice about Hillary, the Democrats. She said, here's the difference. She goes, we got a bunch of Republicans that can't stand Donald Trump, and they make it public. They embarrass the guy every single day, and he may lose because of that. He says, say what you want about the Democrats. She says, they lack honor, actually, because here Hillary is involved in all this mess, and not once has a Democrat come out and bashed her. Yet, Republicans will bash Donald Trump for a tweet.
That 40-year gravy train still exists.
Well, the point is, don't tell me the Democrats stay loyal to Hillary even with her mess.
They don't like her. And loyalty is different than
I don't
liking.
like her either, but I'm going to vote for her.
Loyalty is different.
I don't like her.
You're a loyal misogynist. What can I tell you?
I'm voting for a woman.
You're misguided. A woman, by the way, who rode her husband's coattails to where she is now.
She deserves it. What he did to her, she should ride his coattails.
Yeah, she should be our president because of what the pervert did to his wife.
She's going to be our president because she's going to get the majority of the vote from the American
people. Here's what I think Bernie and I also agree on, which is it's the macro of this. It's not the micro thing of this. It's the micro of that. It's the macro. It's the years of perjury, obstruction of justice, obfuscation of the facts. Right. What is the meaning of is, and a defense with her from everything that goes back for the last 30 years. And
bullying his sexual harassment victims on top of that. I mean, that's a pretty sleazy episode in her life. That all those things, so the collective, as Greg says, all of this stuff.
What's the problem? She's a politician, so what's the problem?
She's a politician, so it's okay to...
I don't say it's okay, but that's the game. So what's the problem? So he's not a politician, so we don't have all this other dirt on Donald Trump. We've got him screwing contractors.
She's bought and paid for, and she only cares about herself. She stands for nothing. That's the whole thing.
First of all, here's the problem. You couldn't admit what the facts state.
Which is what?
Is that she's perjured? She's obstructed justice.
About?
She's done all. When did you admit that?
Almost every single day. I actually ran something on...
No, what you said was, well, Donald Trump hasn't been... So you went right to Donald Trump. You accused me of doing the same thing.
I actually put on Twitter, this was my hashtag, you ready? For the alliteration for the letter C. For weeks now, it's been it's been corrupt over clueless. I know she's all of those things. She's a liar. She's a fraud. And I think Jim Comey laid it out perfectly. I don't defend Hillary Clinton. Everything you're calling her, I agree with. And yet, with all that said, I find him to be so inept and, quite frankly, so dumb, despite his business acumen, that I cannot give him this country.
I would rather have clueless over cop bashing, seeing as how we're going with the alliteration.
I don't know about the cop bashing.
Over what's it? How can I make?
She's out there.
How about criminal association?
Excuse me.
Criminal associates.
Like who? Like John Kennedy when he was with Sanjay and Cuomo. They were best friends.
Why is it about John Kennedy?
Well, I'm just saying that's a job. Greg, you're in bed with leaders from other countries that are less than desirable. I get it.
What are you kidding
So what?
me?
Donald Trump made money out of
There's a
Russia.
litany.
He had to fire Paul Manafort this week because he was making money from the Ukraine and Russia. Why don't you talk about that for 1 second?
Well, he fired.
How criminal is it? It's the image of what it is, but how criminal
in
was
bed
it?
with our enemy. That's okay.
I said, how criminal was it?
Well, criminal. Well, it's criminal to be in bed with the enemy, in my estimation. Yes, that's criminal. You may not go to jail, but
then
not to be criminal.
Benghazi's got to be criminal then.
Listen,
well, because she killed those people in Benghazi, right? You know that.
You know, here's the
she
thing.
didn't use a gun.
The only he's not normally pro-Hillary, but he's defending her now because he hates Donald Trump.
True.
He does not like
it's
Hillary.
an
I don't like
emotional
Hillary.
response is what I'm
But
saying.
at least he has, I would say this about him. He has the integrity to come out and say, I would rather have Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump in the White House, as opposed to some of these sniveling, weasel, cowardly Republicans types who will not, they'll just say, oh, I'll vote for Gary Johnson, or something, when essentially they're voting for Hillary Clinton when they make their comments and they pull a lever, because a vote for Gary Johnson on their part is a vote for Hillary Clinton, actually.
Right, and I look at it. I just don't. You know, you look at polling out there, and what the polling says is, you know, you can throw that here or there because it's all polling of registered voters. How many people are going to be registered in the next 2 months that are going to come out and vote, and how many corporate heads that come out there and say that they're more with Hillary, go to the voting booth and vote for the other guy.
Well, that's your hope. That's your hope.
How about,
no, it's not a hope of mine. It's just when I look at it, that's how I look at stuff. And you know what? Hey, listen, I don't think no matter who's president that this country is not going to survive. It will survive. But what's happening in here is the ideology is really trying to switch of what America is. And that's the ideology that I don't agree with. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm not that. Let's bend the Constitution. Let's do all those other things. It's not what I do.
How about this? Hillary Clinton is a racist. You know what she did regarding the private server and the emails? She blamed it on Colin Powell, our first African-American Secretary of State, a war hero. She blamed it on him, and he's fighting back now, saying that, this woman's trying to throw me under the bus. I mean, that is racist. And she also treats blacks as just as votes, not as people. Because as Donald Trump said, every 4 years they go to the White House and they're like, or the Senate or whatever it is, and it's bye-bye. I know the Senate's 6 years. Okay, don't rewrite me on Twitter or whatever the hell.
Right.
So she's a racist. See how easy it is to throw around the racist word? She's a racist. And plus she said this. Remember, she spoke in front of a church congregation and said this to them?
I don't feel no ways tired.
I mean, how insulting is that? That is so you support a racist?
Yes, I do. A racist and somebody who's okay with rape and molestation and who's dishonest.
In a court of law, and Sid would say that, he says, I didn't say a racist. I said an e-racist.
Hey, speaking of erase, whatever happened to your former teammate Mark Gastineau? I mean,
he's alive and well.
Is he really?
He's gained a little weight. He's had some health things that he had taken care of, but
some gastrointestinal.
No, I don't.
See what you did there? Gastrointestinal.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Hey, listen, I can actually post. I was in the first two episodes of the Gastineau Girls with Lisa and his daughter Brittany.
Really?
True story. Absolutely. I was in Brittany's apartment.
That's embarrassing.
I know
to admit it.
I know. Hey, but I was there. Mark wasn't. Her father and the husband. I was there and he wasn't.
That's true. But briefly, he's okay and
he's okay.
He's alive and well.
Yeah, we just had an alumni reunion that the Jets sponsored back in August, and he was there.
But nobody likes him, right? Like I know Klecko hates him. Nobody likes him. Right?
Let me just say this: it's you hate Trump. And you don't hate Trump because you don't know him. Your emotions are taken away with you. So control your emotions and understand Mark Gastineau is what he is, whether you like him or I don't.
I don't know him.
That's my point.
But Jet players have told me they hated him. You're telling me they're lying?
But they hate him for all different reasons.
Because he's an asshole.
Hey, come on.
That's what they said to me.
I don't look at him like that. I got to tell you something. I don't look at him like that. I've known him for as long as everybody else. There were issues with Mark Gastineau about playing. Yeah. But I
do you think he got screwed by the Strahan deal, Michael Strahan?
100%.
Yeah, he got
100%.
The record was stolen from him, actually.
Absolutely
and so
given away.
Strahan is a thief.
The Strahan.
See, now you're being emotional.
Favre did it.
Now you're being
Brett
emotional.
Favre did it. He was the one that came around and just stood there till Strahan went to him. Now, as you can remember, Strahan didn't jump at him He kind of like couldn't believe he's standing there. Yeah. And so he goes there, and by technicality, he made a sack because it was behind the line of scrimmage. Now, by the way, I would take that and I'd say that's wrong, and it should be Mark Gastineau's thing.
Agree.
What do you mean what?
What?
See, that's your emotional Giant fan speaking.
You're gonna give up the all-time record.
No, I didn't say Michael Strahan should do anything.
Okay, who should do it?
I said it should be struck out because that was a nonsensical, joke, stupid play.
Right.
That stole the sack record from Mark Gaston. And by the way, I love Strahan.
Right.
He's a great guy. Play golf with him. He's a great guy.
Good guy. Likable guy.
He didn't steal it.
Right.
It was given to him by Brett Favre.
I feel like you're being emotional for the Jets. I do. I feel like now you're being emotional.
How emotional is logic?
You kind of raise your voice. Your face got all red.
You need a psychiatrist. I'm going to tell you something.
Hey, Greg Buttle, man.
I'm going to print my ring on his forehead in a couple seconds. That's emotional.
Oh, my God. What was a better defense? Let's get you emotional. Your defense was a really good defense. I think underrated. The sack exchange, you guys at linebacker, really good defense. Or the Giants' defense of the 80s. It was a better defense. If you even think about it, I'm going to punch you right in the stomach. I swear to God, Buttle.
That'd be the last punch you ever threw. Bro.
Yeah, whatever.
You might hurt yourself.
Are you actually thinking about this?
Yeah, because you can't. You want to ask about a defense. I don't know where it ranked. I can't look at ranks, but statistically speaking.
You know what? Also, we're out of time. So, we can continue this on Sid's podcast.
Oh, we could do that.
All right?
What podcast? I'm not doing any podcast for him.
Screw that.
Yeah, that's right. He just buried himself.
Just so you know, you're on right after Hillary today.
Hey, Greg Buttle, thank you.
My pleasure, guys.
Fantastic guest. A New York legend, Greg Buttle, in studio with Bernie and Sid on 77 WABC. Back after this. All right, folks. Another kick-ass show here on the Bernie and Sid Show. Curtis and Kubi, they'll pick it up next in a matter of minutes.